My phone rang at 4 a.m. It was my daughter, sobbing, her voice broken, frantic. "Mom, someone's in the bathroom. The door's locked from the inside." I was already in the car before she finished. The drive blurred, headlights slicing through the dark. By the time I reached her dorm, my pulse was hammering against my ribs. She was standing in the hall, barefoot, clutching her blanket like a shield. Eyes wide, finger trembling as she pointed to the bathroom door. "It's locked," she whispered. I unlocked it with the spare key the school had given me. The smell hit first. Humid, sour, the tang of mold. I pulled back the shower curtain, expecting, God, I don't know what I expected. That's when I heard it, movement, above me. I looked up at the vent. Two eyes stared back. I froze. The face vanished into the duct, leaving nothing but silence and the sound of my daughter's quick, shallow breaths behind me. I forced myself to stay calm. To her, I had to be stone. I told her it was nothing, just old pipes, a rat, anything but the truth. But inside, something cracked open. Because I knew those eyes. Not their shape, not their color, but the intent behind them. The familiarity of watching something that had been watching us for far longer than we realized. Later that night, when she finally slept, I sat in the dark with her phone in my hands. Messages, unknown numbers, a string of late-night texts she had hidden, all of them signed with the same initial, J. I scrolled back further, weeks, months, small words, coaxing words, careful words. And suddenly, I saw it, the pattern. This wasn't random. It wasn't a stranger in the vent. This was someone she knew, someone we knew. I began quietly, methodically. I checked the dorm's maintenance logs. No contractors were supposed to be there. I checked the visitor entries, nothing unusual. Then I traced the numbers, spoofed calls, disposable phones, but all routed from the same region. Close, too close. Each step I took into the shadows of this thing, one truth pressed harder against me. Whoever had crawled through those ducts knew her habits, her schedule, her silence, and her trust. I watched my wife the next morning across the breakfast table. She smiled at our daughter, brushed her hair back, asked about exams. Perfect, tender, the image of comfort. But her phone buzzed. A look passed over her face, quick, guilty. She tilted the screen away. That same initial, J. She caught me looking. "Work," she said, smoothly, sipping her coffee. I nodded, I smiled, but inside I began to assemble the pieces. The detective I hired was efficient, clinical. He didn't ask why I wanted him to follow my wife. He just gave me reports, photographs, timestamps. The truth cut quietly, without drama. She had been meeting someone, a man, not just a man, her lover. A secret life stitched together while I raised our daughter and believed we were a family. The man's name started with J. And when I saw his photo, my stomach hollowed. He wasn't new, he wasn't distant, he was an old flame. Someone she once swore she had cut out of her life forever. Someone she had reintroduced, not to me, but to our daughter. Slowly, carefully, behind my back. The messages weren't just grooming her into trust. They were guiding her, pulling her closer to him. And that night in the dorm vent, it hadn't been random. He had been inside. I didn't confront her with rage. I waited until dinner, when she set the table humming. I slid the folder across the wood, the photographs spilling out like wounds. She went pale, she stammered, she tried to explain. I stayed silent. Our daughter came in, saw the table, saw the fear in her mother's face. I met my wife's eyes and spoke, calm, controlled. You put her in danger. She broke then. Tears, begging, denials tangled with excuses, but I saw through all of it. The messages, the vent, the eyes above the shower. This wasn't just betrayal, This was calculation. I stood, taking my daughter's hand. My wife reached for me. I pulled away. "You've lost us both," I said quietly. Her body crumpled against the chair. I didn't look back. Later, in a motel room 2 towns over, I lay awake listening to my daughter's breathing. Steady now, safe. I thought I would feel rage. I thought I would feel grief. Instead, I felt nothing. Because betrayal drains you long before it breaks you. By the time the truth arrives, there's no blood left to spill. I looked at her asleep beside me, her innocence, fragile, intact for now. And I swore she would never crawl through the ducts of lies her mother built. The woman I thought I knew was gone. Perhaps she never existed. And when I closed my eyes, the last thing I remembered was those eyes above the vent, hers reflected in someone else's. That was the moment I understood. Some betrayals don't shatter you, they cauterize you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.